Hello everyone, my name is Kate. I'm an RTT hypnotherapist, and today we are going to talk about the topic that is very important specifically to women, but to men as well, so it doesn't matter. However, women are more concerned about it, and it's the fear of old age, right? So this fear is completely socially imposed. It is not a natural fear, right? When many years ago, and I'm talking about thousands of years ago, people were not concerned about the old age, about getting old, right? Why? Because they didn't have social media, because they didn't live in these huge civilizations that put the pressure and expectations, right, on the human being. And that's why they just accepted everything. They accepted their body. They accepted how their body changed. They actually saw old age as an advantage of being like to gain wisdom, to retire and kind of rest, right? Giving advices to the younger generation. So long ago, there was no fear of old age. There was no fear of getting old, right? But now this fear is so huge, and it's an artificial fear that it gives people a lot of symptoms. And why I am talking, because I am specializing in fears, right? Anxiety, phobias. I'm talking about all kinds of fear. And this fear has such a huge physical symptom, which is anxiety, right? Sometimes even panic. People are doing irrational actions, they are making wrong choices because of this fear. So let's dive into the juicy stuff. Most of the women actually do have this fear, men as well, but not as common. Because, of course, of the social standards about how the culture put up the beauty of the physical body, right? Also, there are a lot of psychological, and we'll talk about the roots and the causes of the fear of old age. But before, I want to tell you that there is a social standard that a human body has this expiration date, right? The freshness, I would say. So people think that, I'm 45, I'm old. Not everyone, but I'm talking about the majority of people, because this is true. We're not talking about these gurus or people who are very self-aware, who understand what to do. We're not talking about them. They know already. They accept their body. They accept the aging as a natural process. I'm talking to the 90% of the population, right, who are actually afraid. And how is it connected to what you do in life? So fear of old age is very connected with what you do in life. Whether you enjoy your life, whether you enjoy your job, whether you enjoy your relationship, whether you enjoy your community, and how you actually stand in the community. Very connected, right? If you love what you do, you're super excited about the future, no matter how you look like. You are very, very self-aware of your body and of the aging process. So what are the symptoms of the fear of old age, fear of getting old? So the first symptom will be depression. So a lot of people who are still kind of like 35, 40, a very young age, but they are actually very afraid of aging. And they get depressed because they feel like all their best years are gone. And there is nothing to look forward to, right? So depression is a big symptom of this fear. And I'm not talking about the severe depression, but you can be really depressed because you will overthink that. You're going to be in this looping thought of like, oh, I'm getting old, I'm sad, upset, frustrated. You wake up, and again, this kind of a looping thought every day. So catches up on you really fast. Another symptom is making huge efforts to do things that are appropriate for some age. So for example, you are 45, but you're still partying, you're leading the lifestyle of a 25, which is okay. But at the same time, at some point, it looks sometimes it looks silly. Sometimes people are really aligned with that lifestyle, but a lot of times people are just kind of thriving to do things that they actually don't want to do, but they do it to meet the social standard, to still feel young, right? It also concerns health, right, and beauty, right? People are doing all of these surgeries, right? Rejuvenation procedures, right? And I'm not saying that's not okay, right? That's bad, but it also needs to be addressed on the psychological level. If a person is so concerned about every wrinkle they have, on their face or on their body, right? They need to seek the psychological help as well, so that they feel good in their body, because that's self-confidence, that's self-care, that's self-worth. Another big symptom of this fear of getting old is, anxiety. So this worry, what's going to happen? I don't want to get old, so this anxiety is there, and people sometimes don't even know that it's because they are afraid to get old. Anxiety sometimes get in when the kids are moving out of your place, if you have kids and they are already going to college, university, or they got married, and they're moving out of your place. A lot of people start to really realize that I'm old now, I'm alone, right? Very connected to the fear of loneliness as well, right? When we are kind of give ourselves to our kids, not even thinking about ourselves, right? Not prioritizing ourselves. It can get to us, especially at that time when our kids or or even a divorce between the age of 45 and 65 can be very traumatic for people, because they feel like, I'm old, I'm not gonna meet anyone anymore, which is not true. If your heart is full of love, you'll find someone, you'll find a partner even if you're 75. Proven. So what are the roots and the causes? So I kind of did 10, but it could be more. And it's very, very individual. You should be seeking your own, regress yourself to find out, why are you afraid of getting old or of old age, right? The first is the experience of your parents. So how did your parents, what beliefs they had about getting old? About old age. What did you see? How did you see them getting old? Because that's how you formed your beliefs. We form our beliefs either from our own experience or from our beliefs, that our parents put on us, right? Our parental patterns. And what we saw, we actually accepted it as a truth. When you are 10 years old or 12-year-old girl, right, or boy, and you're looking at your parents who are very concerned about their look, about, staying young as much as possible with the help of cosmetics, or, just partying all the time, being still young, right, kind of, then you can form the belief that that's what I need to do as well. So the experience of your parents is the first root, right? And you need to regress yourself really to find out the root. And this is what I am doing with my clients in hypnotherapy. I had quite a few of clients who were afraid of getting old, and they came to find out, where is it coming from? And I had even a girl who was 28 and who was afraid of getting old. And I'm pretty sure this is not the youngest age. I'm pretty sure some kids even are afraid of getting old now. And so another root cause is going to be a quick shift from the single life to the married life. Interesting, right? But sometimes when you're single and you're feel this freedom, and then you get married and you feel and then you're getting responsibilities, you're putting more responsibility on yourself, the family puts a lot of responsibility on you, you feel like, this is what getting old looks like. You're kind of missing the opportunity of being free, of being freedom, and that creates problems in the relationship as well, right? So this also has to be addressed if you feel like that, right? Another big root, and one of the most common that I find with my clients, is the fear of dying. right? People fear of getting old, of the old age, is because they are afraid of dying. And afraid of dying is also, the fear of dying is also a symptom. It's a symptom of not following your heart. You know, fear of dying is being out of control, right? Not controlling your life, but also not following your heart. If you don't love what you do, you feel like you have wasted your life. And I'm going to talk about fear of dying more specifically in other videos, right? But fear of dying it's also as an artificially imposed fear. We do have a little bit of it to save our lives in critical situations, but not all the time. You shouldn't have that fear every single day, right? And I don't say it's easier to overcome this fear, but it's absolutely possible. I had people overcome their fears, you know, fear of dying, fear of losing control. Another reason is hating your job, right? So if you hate your job, for example, you're 50 or 40 and you have worked at your company or in your industry for like 25 years or 20 years, right? You sometimes feel stuck. You feel stuck and you feel like it's too late to change something. And that's where the fear of getting old comes into. You're like, oh, it's too late, which means I'm old. I don't deserve any change. I don't deserve this spark in my eyes. You know, I don't deserve being motivated, you know, inspired by something new, which is not true. This is also the belief that the society, parents, experience, friends put on us. So shouldn't be there, right? Also, regressing yourself and finding where, how, and when you formed that belief, because this belief is not true. It doesn't benefit you. Another reason, right, for this fear is a fear of not being important. So sometimes people feel they are in a workplace or they are in a family and they feel important. They're in a community, right? They feel important, and after their retirement, they don't feel that anymore. They'll feel like they have lost the purpose, lost the meaning to life, right? So this fear of not being important, not being valued in the community, right? Losing the community, right? When you retire, you lose the community that you have been in for so many years. When your kids grow up and lead their own families, right? You might also feel that fear that I'm not that important anymore, right? Another reason for being afraid of getting old is the guilt, right? So guilt over past mistakes. This is something that needs to really to be addressed really fast because guilt is something, it's like a poison. It's like a poison. It's like holding a grudge on someone. It holds you back all the time. The same with guilt. Guilt, very often, I think in almost every single client that I work with, they have guilt over past mistakes, over lost opportunities, over something that they didn't want to do, right? So they are stuck in the past. Guilt is being stuck in the past. So also, you can absolutely free yourself from that feeling, right? And I'll tell in the end how you can do that. Fear of loneliness. Fear of loneliness is the reason for this fear of getting old, right? Fear of loneliness, that you will be alone, that there will be no one beside you when you die or in this last years of your life. And this fear very easily fixed, let's just say, because you just need to find the community, to connect at least to something, to the hobby, to the activity, to other people, right? It helps tremendously, right? Loss of status. If a person held a huge important status, this fear to lose this status, the importance, as I already said, right? They're very similar. Also can lead you to be afraid of getting old, right? If you have experienced funerals in the childhood, or if some of your family members experience some kind of how do I say that? Some kind of a terminal illness, right? Something you saw how your grandparents were dying for a long period of time. They were like sick for years, right? Or for months. When you have been at the funeral at the very young age, it can impact a child's psyche so much that you can start to be afraid of death and afraid of dying from the very small age, right? But it's also, you need to work to do the inner work on your subconscious level and unconscious level. Unfortunately, talk therapy is very effective for people who are very self-aware, but people who have a lot of subconscious triggers, subconscious traumas, right? Isolation in the childhood, they need to work on the deeper level because you don't want to spend years on therapy. You don't want that. You want to leave. Another big reason is, of course, social standards. So it's a social standard that if I'm old, I will not be needed. So the girls, right, like I will not be loved. I will not be loved if I'm old. And that's, of course, is imposed by the social media, Instagram, you know, these beautiful pictures, you know, and everything that is happening in the social media right now, right? If you're young, you are loved. If you're not, sorry, pass, right? So just, we also need to go away from the social media and work on ourselves. And then even if you go back into the social media, you know, and you're leading a very active social media accounts, you will put another meaning into that. So you'll not be that attached to all of those standards, but you need to work on yourself. So in order to find out whether you are afraid of getting old and how you can overcome it, how you can start working on that, right? You can ask yourself questions. How do you see your old age? Ask yourself a question, write down. How do I see my life after 65 or 70 or after 60? What do I see for myself? And a lot of people don't want to face that question, really. And what do you want in life? Do you like what you do? Another question. You know, are you afraid to lose importance in the community? Are you afraid of losing something when you are getting old, right? Another really great question to understand this fear is, if you only had 2 years to live, what would you do? What would you focus on? That will give you the clear picture of what needs to be done in life, either focusing on family or on doing what you love, you know, and hobbies, whatever. So how can you quickly overcome, how you can quickly overcome this fear is by working on different levels of your body and mind, right? So you can exercise to keep your body, you know, very flexible and young. Or you can work on your subconscious mind. And, you know, if you want to find out more about hypnotherapy and how it can help you overcome fears much faster, more efficiently than if you were just kind of struggling with it for years, right? My link is down below. I do sessions in person and online, and it works amazingly well, you know, so let's get in touch. And I hope that you will be able to overcome this fear, because you don't need this in your life. Bye.